I want to bring in now another former administration official who's recently come out against the president. Elizabeth Neumann served as the Assistant Secretary for Threat Prevention and Security Policy at DHS. She's now with the group REPAIR, Republican Political Alliance for Integrity and Reform. Elizabeth, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You say you talked with Olivia Troye, I think it was last week, as she was getting ready to have this digital ad be released, and what she told you brought you to tears. Why? Can you share with us what was so emotional about that conversation?
You know, and the role that I had, and I left government in April, the role that I had, I was watching the effects of the chaos that was happening at the White House, and I could tell something was really, really wrong about our response. To hear firsthand from Olivia, who was in the room, why things were so chaotic, that it wasn't just inexperienced people with dealing with something novel and, you know, just maybe being prideful, not realizing that they needed to rely on their government experts in the public health and emergency management community. But in fact, it wasn't just incompetence. There was design here. There was intentional negligence. And to hear her explain what she witnessed, it just broke my heart that in our country that can happen. And there was a study that came out this week that really put this into context, why Olivia's testimony matters. Brookings Institute looked at other countries around the globe and our current country and compared, and these are countries that have standards of living like ours, that have access to healthcare like ours. And they discovered that because of the way that we implemented COVID measures, if we had implemented like other countries, we would have 9 million more people working today. And there would be 100,000 people not dead. So put that, you know, we have almost 200,000 dead. Half of those lives would have been saved if the Trump administration had followed the plans that we have had in place for 15 years and had acted responsibly the way many other governments across the globe have. And hearing that firsthand account of what she witnessed, it just was so devastating. This is what's happening to our country.
Elizabeth, my other job is covering the White House for NBC News, and one of my colleagues there asked Vice President Pence about Olivia Troye specifically. President Trump was also asked about her. I want to play for you what both of them are saying.
I have no idea who she is. I don't met her. I never met her, to the best of my knowledge.
It reads to me like one more disgruntled employee who's left the White House and now has decided to play politics during an election year.
The White House also called you, Elizabeth, a disgruntled employee. And I wonder what you say to critics who argue that had you or others come forward while you were still serving in the administration, that might have actually had more power if you expressed those concerns publicly at the time.
Look, I think there's so many of us at this point that have received the disgruntled label that I'm proud to be a part of that group that's speaking out. You know, when you're on the inside, there is good work that you're able to do, especially in the earlier years. We were able to off a lot of bad ones. So I think it's sometimes when you're in the moment, it's really hard to discern whether it's best if I keep my job and try to help things from the inside, and when that moment is to speak out. But certainly I heard in your lead-in that they're calling this political, and you're like, well, of course it's political. We have an election in 2 months, and you are not telling the American people the truth. And so we feel compelled to share what we saw on the inside so that the American people can make a decision based on the facts, not based on this spin that somehow they ran the best pandemic response ever. I mean, it's just so far from the reality of what has happened in this last year.
I only have about 30 seconds left, Elizabeth, but I want to ask you, Troye told the Washington Post that there are others that she believes who will come forward who used to work in the administration. Somebody who works with your group as well suggested that perhaps Anonymous, that person who wrote the op-ed that made so many waves, last year, the year before, may reveal themselves. Is it your expectation that we may find out who Anonymous is before the election, that we may hear from him or her or others that used to work for the Trump administration?
I don't know about an Anonymous, but that would be great if they would finally come out. And we are talking to other people who are thinking through a number of factors about when they're going to say something, when they're going to speak out and share their experience. Many of those people have really important jobs right now, and it would be important for them to stay where they are to keep our country safe. So there is a balance here, and you need the few adults that are left in the room to stay to try to keep our country as safe as possible, while also trying to educate the American public about how dangerous this president is.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.